Welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be exploring two really interesting weapons against cancer. We're going to be talking about antioxidant-rich foods and sunscreen.
Oh, those are great choices for a deep dive.
Yeah, and we're really going to get down into it, not just, the headlines. Like, we really want to see how these everyday things, can play a huge role in preventing cancer.
Yeah, I think a lot of people hear those words a lot, like antioxidants, sunscreen, but don't really know what they mean or how they can, actually impact their health.
Right, exactly. So we're going beyond just what they are, and we're really going to dig into the why. Like, why are these things so important?
I like it.
So to kind of kick things off, let's start with antioxidants. We hear all the time they're good for us. But what is the actual science behind them? Like, how do they actually help prevent cancer?
Well, imagine our cells are constantly under attack.
Oh, by what?
By these unstable molecules called free
Oh,
radicals.
radicals, okay.
Yeah, they're just a byproduct of normal metabolism. Think of them like little sparks flying off a campfire.
Okay, I can see
A
that.
few sparks here and there, not a big deal. But, too many and you can have a wildfire.
Ah, so free radicals are the sparks and they can damage our cells.
Exactly. And that damage, it's called oxidative stress. And it can lead to mutations in our DNA.
And that's bad.
That's the blueprint of our cells. So those mutations, they can disrupt normal cell growth and could potentially lead to cancer.
Okay, so that's where antioxidants come in, right? They're like the firefighters putting out those sparks.
Precisely. They neutralize those free radicals, preventing them from, just causing all this havoc in our cells. It's like a built-in defense system against cellular damage.
Okay, I like that. So how do we make sure we have enough of these, like, firefighters in our body? Like, how do we get those antioxidants?
Well, it's not just about getting antioxidants. It's about getting the right types.
Yeah.
Different antioxidants target different types of free radicals, and they have, their own unique benefits.
Okay, that's interesting. So, like, what are some of the, key players in this antioxidant army, and where can we find them?
Ooh, okay. Let's start with vitamin C. It's a real potent antioxidant, found in citrus fruits, berries, leafy greens.
Okay, so fruits and veggies.
Yeah, it's like a master defender. It boosts our immune system and just directly neutralizes a wide range of those free radicals.
I can already picture that big bowl of fruit salad.
Exactly.
What else?
Okay, then we have carotenoids.
Carotenoids.
Like beta-carotene, lutein, zeaxanthin.
Okay.
They're found in those bright-colored fruits and vegetables. Carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, kale.
All the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. They're really good at protecting our cells from damage caused by light and oxygen.
Oh, so eye health and skin protection as well.
Absolutely. And then we have vitamin E, found in nuts, seeds, vegetable oils. It's a powerful fat-soluble antioxidant that protects cell membranes.
And cell membranes are?
Like the walls of our cells.
Right.
From free radical damage.
Got it.
So they're like reinforcing that fortress.
Yes, I like these visuals. Are there any other, key players we should know about?
Don't forget polyphenols.
Polyphenols.
They're found in a wide variety of plant foods.
Oh, okay.
Berries, tea, coffee, even dark chocolate.
Oh, I like the sound of that one.
Yeah, they have a wide range of benefits,
Yeah.
Anti-inflammatory effects, and they can even protect our DNA from damage.
Okay, so it really sounds like it's all about eating the rainbow, making sure you get lots of different fruits and vegetables and other plant-based foods to make sure you're getting that full range of antioxidants.
Exactly. And there's some emerging research suggesting that the synergy between different antioxidants is even more powerful than the sum of their parts individually.
Oh, wow. So we're not just talking about adding a few blueberries to our yogurt in the morning. We're talking about a whole symphony of flavors and nutrients.
Yeah, I like that analogy. It's about, creating a balanced, diverse diet that just provides that constant supply of these cellular protectors.
Okay, so we have this really amazing visual of this colorful army of antioxidants. But how do they actually work at the cellular level to actually prevent cancer?
Well, think of it this way. Cancer is essentially uncontrolled cell growth, right?
Right.
Antioxidants help keep that growth in check in several ways.
Like how?
Okay, so for example, some antioxidants, like vitamin C, they enhance the function of our immune system.
Okay.
So it's making it more efficient at detecting and eliminating potentially cancerous cells before they can multiply and spread.
Okay, so they're boosting our natural defenses.
Right. And others, like polyphenols, can actually help repair damaged DNA.
Oh.
So if a free radical does manage to, damage our DNA, Some antioxidants can help fix that damage before it leads to a mutation that could trigger cancer.
That's incredible. So they're like tiny little repair crews going in there and fixing things.
They are, and there's also evidence that some antioxidants can influence a process called apoptosis.
Apoptosis, right. You mentioned that earlier. That's a programmed cell death, right?
Yes, that's right. It's the body's way of, just getting rid of damaged or abnormal cells that could potentially become cancerous.
So it's like a self-destruct button
Yeah.
for those cells that are potentially dangerous.
Exactly. And some antioxidants, like those found in green tea, they've been shown to promote apoptosis in cancer cells.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically helping our bodies eliminate those threats.
So it's not just one mechanism at play. It's like a whole team working together.
Precisely.
This is all very impressive. But, is there actual scientific evidence to back this up? These claims about antioxidants and cancer prevention.
Oh, absolutely. There's a growing body of research that really supports the connection.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Yeah. A study published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute found that, people with higher blood levels of certain carotenoids had a lower risk of developing lung cancer.
Oh, that's pretty compelling.
Mhm.
Are there any other studies that really stand out to you?
Another one published in the British Journal of Cancer found that a diet rich in flavonoids,
Flavonoids, remind me what those are again.
those are those polyphenols we were talking about, in berries and tea,
Oh, right.
was associated with a reduced risk of colorectal cancer.
Wow. So we're not just talking about theory here. There's actual scientific evidence to support the idea that, eating a diet rich in antioxidants can actually help prevent cancer.
Yeah, exactly. And, the evidence is mounting that what we eat plays a crucial role in protecting our health.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as choosing the right foods can have such a profound impact on our well-being.
Absolutely. It's about making gradual, sustainable changes
Right.
and enjoying the delicious benefits.
Yeah. So we've talked about, building that strong defense from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
What about protecting ourselves from those external threats?
That's where our second weapon comes in, sunscreen.
Okay.
All about shielding ourselves from the damaging effects of the sun's UV radiation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We've armed our internal defenses. Now let's focus on protecting ourselves from the outside. But before we dive into that, why don't we take a moment to explore a really interesting study that sheds light on just how powerful antioxidants can be.
I'd love to. This study, published in the journal Nature, looked at the effects of a specific type of antioxidant called
Resveratrol.
resveratrol. Okay.
Yeah, it's found in grapes and red wine.
Oh, interesting.
And they looked at its effects on the development of skin cancer in mice.
So they were testing if resveratrol could actually protect against skin cancer caused by UV radiation. Exactly, and the results were pretty remarkable. The mice that were given resveratrol before being exposed to UV radiation developed way fewer skin tumors than the mice who didn't get the resveratrol.
Wow, so that's pretty compelling evidence for the protective powers of antioxidants.
It is, and it really highlights the importance of thinking about cancer prevention from multiple angles, both internal and external.
Right, which brings us back to our second weapon, sunscreen. So, I know it's important for protecting our skin from, sunburns, but how does it actually help prevent skin cancer?
Well, just like free radicals can damage our DNA, the sun's UV radiation can also wreak havoc on our skin cells' genetic material. And when our DNA gets damaged, it can lead to mutations. And those mutations can, really set the stage for cancer development.
Okay, so sunscreen is basically like a shield, protecting our DNA from those harmful UV rays.
Exactly. It acts as a barrier, absorbing or reflecting those rays before they can penetrate our skin and cause that damage.
Okay, that makes sense. But there are so many different types of sunscreen out there. How do we know which one to choose?
It can definitely be overwhelming, but there are a few key things to look for. First, make sure your sunscreen offers broad-spectrum protection.
Broad-spectrum protection, what does that mean?
It means it protects against both UVA and UVB rays.
Okay.
Those are the two main types of UV radiation that reach the Earth's surface and can damage our skin.
So it's not just about preventing sunburns then?
Right. UVB rays are the primary culprit behind sunburns. But UVA rays, they penetrate deeper into the skin, and they contribute to premature aging and wrinkles, and both UVA and UVB rays, they can damage our DNA and increase that risk of skin cancer.
So we need to block both of them. Got it. So broad spectrum protection is a must. What else should we be looking for?
The next important factor is SPF,
SPF.
or sun protection factor.
Okay.
It indicates how long it takes for UV rays to redden protected skin compared to unprotected skin.
Okay, so like if I normally burn after 10 minutes in the sun, an SPF 30 sunscreen would theoretically protect me for like 300 minutes.
That's the general idea, but it's important to remember that SPF, it's not a perfect measure.
Okay.
It's affected by a lot of factors, how much sunscreen you apply, how often you reapply, your individual skin type.
So we can't just rely on that SPF number alone.
Right. The American Academy of Dermatology recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of at least 30.
Okay.
But you might need a higher SPF if you have fair skin, you're spending a long time outdoors, or are in, like a high altitude or a tropical environment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about water resistance? I know that's important if you're like swimming or sweating.
Absolutely. If you're planning to be in the water, look for a sunscreen that's labeled as water resistant for at least 80 minutes.
80 minutes, okay.
That means it's going to maintain its SPF even after being submerged in water for that amount of time.
Okay, so we've got broad spectrum protection, SPF 30 or higher, and water resistance. Anything else we should keep in mind?
Yes. The type of sunscreen you choose is also really important.
Okay.
There are two main types: chemical sunscreens and mineral sunscreens.
Oh, okay. What's the difference?
So chemical sunscreens work by absorbing UV rays and converting them into heat, which is then released from the skin.
Okay.
Mineral sunscreens, on the other hand, work by creating a physical barrier on the skin that reflects UV rays away.
Okay, so chemical sunscreens absorb the rays, mineral sunscreens reflect them.
You got it. Both types can be effective, but there are, some key differences.
Like what?
Well, mineral sunscreens, which usually contain, ingredients like zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, they tend to be gentler on sensitive skin,
Okay.
and they're less likely to cause irritation, and they also offer immediate protection.
Oh, that's good to know. What about chemical sunscreens?
Chemical sunscreens, they often have a lighter texture, blend more easily into the skin, but they need to be absorbed into the skin to work. So you have to apply them, like 20 minutes before going out in the sun.
Interesting. So there are pros and cons to both types. It sounds like choosing the right sunscreen is kind of a personal decision based on, your skin type and your preferences.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that no sunscreen is perfect. Even with the best sunscreen, you should still take steps to limit your sun exposure, especially during peak UV hours.
Right. So seek shade, wear protective clothing, and don't forget those stylish wide-brimmed hats. But even with all these precautions, I have to ask, does sunscreen really make that much of a difference when it comes to preventing skin cancer?
The evidence is pretty clear that it does. Numerous studies have shown that regular sunscreen use significantly reduces the risk of developing skin cancer.
Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. One landmark study was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. They followed over 1,600 people for 10 years, and they found that those who used sunscreen daily had a 50% lower risk of developing melanoma.
Melanoma, that's the deadliest form of skin cancer, right?
That's right.
Wow, 50%, that's a huge reduction.
It is, and the American Cancer Society, they estimate that using sunscreen daily can reduce your risk of squamous cell carcinoma, another common type of skin cancer, by about 40%.
Okay, so the science is pretty clear. Sunscreen is not just about vanity or avoiding a sunburn. It's about protecting ourselves from a serious health threat.
Exactly. It's a simple, everyday habit that can have a really big impact on our long-term health.
This has been so insightful. It's really empowering to know that we have so much control over protecting our health with these everyday products. We've covered a lot of ground today. We explored the power of antioxidants and sunscreen in preventing cancer. But before we wrap things up, why don't we take a moment to kind of recap what we've learned and leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. Welcome back. We're wrapping up our deep dive on cancer prevention. And we've been focusing on two really powerful tools we have, antioxidant-rich foods and sunscreen.
Yeah, it's been great kind of breaking down the science behind them and seeing how these everyday things, can really make a difference.
For sure. So we started by talking about the enemy, like oxidative stress caused by too many free radicals.
Right, those little sparks.
Yeah, those guys, which can really wreak havoc on our cells and lead to cancer.
And how those free radicals can damage our DNA.
Right, which is not good.
Not good. But luckily, we've got those antioxidants to fight back.
Yeah, like a built-in defense system.
And we learned that it's not just about getting any antioxidants.
Right.
It's about getting, a whole variety of them
All army.
from different plant-based foods.
Exactly. To
Yeah.
really maximize that protection.
Mm-hmm.
And then we shifted gears a bit, talked about, threats from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
like the sun's UV radiation
Right, which can also damage our skin's DNA.
and lead to skin cancer.
Exactly. And that's where sunscreen comes in, to protect us.
Our shield.
Our shield, exactly. We talked about the importance of finding a sunscreen that's broad spectrum
Right, so it blocks both UVA and UVB rays.
and how SPF, water resistance, and, whether it's a chemical or mineral sunscreen are all important things to consider.
To find the right fit for you.
Exactly.
But the big takeaway here is that both antioxidants and sunscreen, when used correctly, can really make a difference in reducing our risk of cancer.
It's amazing to think that, we have the power to make these choices that impact our health.
For sure. So to our listeners out there, you have the power to protect your health and well-being. Fill your plate with colorful fruits and veggies and all those plant-based foods to get those antioxidants.
And don't forget that sunscreen every day, not just when it's sunny.
Exactly.
Mm.
By incorporating those simple steps, you're really taking charge of your health. And we hope this deep dive has kind of opened your eyes to those possibilities.
And given you the knowledge to, make informed choices.
And to live a longer, healthier life.
Absolutely. Prevention is key.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.